Hey everyone, I am popping on just a little bit early, but that's because I always have to adjust my camera. Doesn't matter if I leave the settings exactly as they were the last time, they always need adjustment the next time. Don't ask me why. But I hope everyone is doing well for their Sunday. I don't know about you guys, but ever since the time change, I am just all sorts of screwed up. And I'm sure that happens to everyone. I mean, it used to happen to my kids more often than not, but I have definitely noticed as I've gotten older, the time change takes 2 to 3 weeks to adjust. So I have been ready for bed by 9, sometimes 8:30, and then I'm getting up between 4 and 5. And I've been so stressed about it that I finally realized, you know what? Maybe I should just go to bed early and keep getting up early because I kind of like getting up at 4 in the morning. So I've almost decided that I am not going to do the time change and just let my body keep doing what it's doing. So yeah, I have been up since 4:30 this morning. And gosh, by the time 7 rolls around, I'm like, is it 10? It feels like 10. So I don't know if anyone else is suffering that little post-time change wackiness, but gosh, I wish I lived in Arizona because I have a few more weeks till my body adjusts, I think. But like I said, I decided last night that I am just going to start sleeping and waking my body wants, because it's not like I have a job to go to per se. I mean, I have a job, but I don't have to clock in at a certain time, so I might as well make the most of that. All right, so I hope everyone is excited to do some coloring. Now, I had put out a poll, what was it, 2 weeks ago? It was before last Sunday's live stream, and the Inktense had won the vote, but there was quite a few people that commented that they really wanted to see skin and a portrait done with Crayola. And then, of course, I had these Colors of the World pencils in my haul not too long ago, and I had quite a few comments that they would love to see skin colored with these as well. So I decided to go ahead and do that this week for those who didn't get their winning vote last week. So what we're going to do is, first off, if you don't have Colors of the World, it's not the biggest deal, but I filled out my chart this morning, and they do actually add a really nice array of basically earth tones is what you're getting here, but a lot more than what you would have over here. And it would help if you were going to do a lot of skin tones, especially if you want to do darker skin tones, because then we have a lot more underlying colors that you wouldn't have otherwise. So that's definitely one thing I noticed was nice about it. All right. Oh, let me fix this real quick. My darn chat is being slow. So sorry about that. I guess we'll just see where that goes, right? Okay, let's see if we can get that to move. There we go. Now we've got it moving. Okay. For some reason there was a delay on there, and I'm not sure why, but so yeah, we're using Colors of the World. I did have to pull one color from the regular Crayola pencils, which is this pack here. It's the 100 count pack. I believe you can still get this one on Amazon, but don't quote me on that. I haven't double checked on that. Hi, Michelle. So I did have to pull one from that 100 pack, but everything else is from the Colors of the World. Now, this chart here I did not make. This chart is actually from Emily Illustrator. Hi, Mona. So you can go on Emily's website and download this chart. It's actually really nice because she purposely separated the Colors of the World ones in their own little section over here because they come in this pack. It's cheap. It's like under $5 for this. You can also get these at Target and whatnot, but I'm lazy and I ordered them on Amazon. So yeah, but I did swatch them out this morning, so that was good. I know what colors I have. And then I thought, picture wise, hi Leanne and Kimberly and anyone else I missed. So picture-wise, gosh, how many weeks ago was it now? I don't know. A few weeks ago, we had done this picture here, and I did the hair with Crayola pencils. I'm sorry, I have a cough drop in my mouth, and I'm really trying to talk like I don't have a cough drop in my mouth. So apologies if you can hear that. But we did this hair with Crayola pencils a couple weeks ago. I had a few of you wanting a hair tutorial for that, so I figured why not finish this page doing the skin in Crayola as well, because, well, we can just make this a whole Crayola page because I never got around to the skin. So you can go back to that live stream if you want to see how to do this hair. I couldn't even tell you the color combos if I tried, but it turned out pretty good. I was going for like a nice light brown. There's a few areas I think I want to touch up. I'm trying not to choke. That wouldn't be pretty. On camera, some of these areas look lighter than they actually are, though, so it's kind of weird. Like on camera, this looks way lighter, and in person, it's not. So that's why I always snap pictures after I share them on my Instagram stories, and I try to put them on my community tab, but always keep an eye on my Instagram and the community tab because I try to give you guys a heads up on things. Whether it's a whip or combos, I share my color combos and all that glorious stuff. Okay. Cough drop in the way. Ooh. Before we get started with our Crayolas, I did mention last week that I published my book, and I do have my book in hard copy. Well, because if I didn't have my own book in hard copy or paperback copy, that would have been kind of weird. But anyway, my book is available on Amazon, and you can get it in paperback. It's free if you're on Kindle Unlimited. I really like the way it printed out, though. I was able to do some little icons and stuff. It was cute. I had some fun designing this, but it's a thick book. But then I compared it to others, and it's actually not that long compared to others. So I felt better about myself after that. So on Instagram, if you want to learn about my book, you need to look up my pen name. That's my pen name. It has its own Instagram. It's me. I'm not an it. I have my own pen name, so I have my own Instagram, and then I also have my own TikTok because, well, you got to join the book talk revolution. So yeah, if you want to get a copy, it's on there, but it is free if you have Kindle Unlimited. I might give away some copies next week, but do follow my pen name on Instagram because I'll be doing a giveaway of the printed copies with a signature, probably starting next week. And then I do have book number 2. It's almost done. I should have it ready for my beta readers by the end of this month. If you want to be a beta reader or ARC reader, just shoot me a DM or an email and we can chat about it then because there's specific requirements for each one. But I definitely need a couple more beta and ARC readers. But yeah, book 2 is supposed to come out December 31st. It's already up on Amazon for pre-order too. It's kind of fun. It's all on there now. Feels so official. Following me on Instagram. Yeah, and I will have more posts regularly. I had to sit down and create a schedule because I was like, I feel like I'm all over the place. They banned you from reviews? How awful. Yeah, there will be a giveaway probably next week. It depends on how I'm doing with because I'm really trying to finish up book 2, but the giveaway will be for some signed copies of the paperback. So you can get it on Kindle Unlimited and then enter to get a signed copy. All right. Let's get to the reason we are here today, which is coloring skin with Crayola. Have I ever colored skin with Crayola? No. My go-to pencils for skin are typically Prisma. I've done it with Polychromos, Lumis, of course, Light Fast and all that. But hey, colors are colors and skin is skin, so I can wing it. I mean, I did it with Arctics and that wasn't too bad. So Here are the colors I'm going to use. Like I said, I had to pull one that wasn't from the Colors of the World, but I needed it. At least I think I did. Told myself I did. So we are using Deep Almond, Medium Almond, and then from regular Crayola, we're using Peach. And then we're also using, gosh, the printing on these is horrid. Light Medium Almond, Very Light Almond. I know, really creative with those names there. And then I also pulled out, oops, don't want to get those out of order. And then I also pulled out Deep Rose, Light Medium Rose, and Light Almond for some blushing and all that. But let's get this going. It's going to be lots of lighter layers than I would typically do, but that's because when I'm using a new pencil and whatnot, I don't go like full into it like I would with Prisma. But even with Prisma, I do multiple layers, so it's not like it's that far off. I did notice this one here, medium almond, kept breaking off when I was sharpening it, which is weird because these are pretty hard. And has anyone tried sharpening these in a doll? Because they were like offering off a ton of resistance. It was really weird. Like they're really hard to like push the crank on. I don't know if it was just me or what. Okay, so I'm going to start with my Very Light Almond and just kind of put it down. So instead of white, which I typically use for highlights, I'm using this Very Light Almond because it's like so close to a light, like a white color. So I'm just going to kind of put it down gently where I want some highlights so I can see it. You may not see it. I probably will zoom in a little bit, but this is more like a guideline for me, a little reminder, if you will, of where I want just a little bit of this lighter color. And I'm not pressing hard by any means. Like with Prisma, I put down my white sometimes just to map it out. But the nice thing with Prisma is they're so opaque that if I were to go color over it with another color, you would see it. Whereas with Crayola, I'm not so sure. So that's why we're going to stick with our light layers. So this layer is going to be a little boring, but it's just me kind of putting down some highlight reminders. And then we'll go from there. And of course, I always like to do a full line around the chin because I just got to separate the chin from under where the neck meets. It just looks wacky if I don't. Let's see. So yeah, hopefully this helps for anyone who likes to use Crayola or only has Crayola and you want to color some skin. I am doing a fair skin tone, but that's just because I haven't used Crayola for skin before. So maybe once I get used to it and figure out combos I like, I can create some more darker ones. I keep meaning to do videos with Prisma because I do have quite a few darker skin tones. I always forget to do them. I do the finished pages and I show that, but I just forget the tutorials. I'm putting a little bit under here, under the eye, just where her nice luscious cheekbones, because well, you probably can't see it, but there's this curve here. So you just picture she has high cheekbones. So this part right here would have a little bit of white where the light would hit it. I want cheekbones like that, nice and luscious. Do I have a blue black hair combo? I'm going to zoom you guys in. Yes, I have a few of them. Just depends on the brand. All right. That's probably better. No worries. Lurk away. All right. So we're just adding this. I know you guys can't see it. I can barely see it. But like I said, I'm just kind of mapping it out. And then I like to put a wee bit of highlight up at the top of the brow. Probably going to do some heavier makeup on this gal. I'm kind of picturing like a really bold, bright red lip. And I'm actually going to keep her tattoo gray. I'll just be coloring it in grayscale. I'm not leaving it like this. I'll be coloring it in grayscale. But then I was picturing some like really drastic makeup because I'm going to have these as piercings here. And then these as like piercings. So she's going to be kind of like my little rebel girl. I don't know. I think she would look really good with some dark smoky makeup. Nice smoky eye look. You know that look we all try to pull off ourselves and never can do it, but I can color it. Just can't do it on my own face. All right, then I'm going to add just some highlights. Highlight reminders on her forehead. Oh, that's one thing I hate about Crayola, the scratchy. Again, I know you can't see this part. This is just, I can barely see it on my end, but it's enough to remind me. All right, I put that there. All right. Now, when I color skin, I go dark to light. If you like to go light to dark, to each their own. I prefer to work shadows into highlights. So that's my method. So now we're going to grab our deep almond, which is our darkest color. And because I'm going to do a lot of light layers, but I'm naturally heavy-handed, I'm going to hold my pencil way back here. So I'm not tempted to be super heavy-handed. Still going to do the little circles. On occasion, I'll flip my pencil so it stays nice and sharp. But we're going to do this nice and light. The one nice thing about Crayola that I've noticed, like while doing hair and whatnot, is that you don't get like that too much of a buildup like you do with, say, Prismacolor, where you get a lot of buildup and you can only do so many layers. I wouldn't necessarily say these are like polys or, gosh, what's another good example where you can just layer for days? Pro colors. But they do have that hardness to them, and they aren't heavily pigmented. But it's kind of like a different type. Like I don't want to compare them to the transparency and layerability of a Pro Color or a Polychromos because it's a Crayola and it is obviously different. I might need to adjust my color settings because she looks bright white. There is indeed color on her face. Right now I'm just getting these glorious fish face cheekbones. She could make a perfect fish face. Or fish pout, whatever you want to call it. When her cheeks are all sucked in. That look is what I'm trying to say. Ugh, yeah. So scratchy on this paper. Ah, it's okay. I'll live. Keep turning it, hoping I'll find a smoother end that doesn't come off as scratchy. Scratchy pencils on paper are like the equivalent of chalkboard, scratches. I'm just, ugh, they really get to me. And this one's like legit scratchy. You can even see it when I'm putting it down. Again, it's Crayola. And then I always bring some of my shadow color right here where the nose dips. Okay. Hang on, I'm going to turn down my brightness because there is more color on her face than that. Oops. Hang on a sec. There we go. Not that bright. Oh, not that dark. I just want you guys to be able to see the colors on her there. There we go. I need to just adjust that a wee bit. Oh, so many settings to adjust. Okay. Hopefully that helps a little because the brown wasn't even showing up. I'm like, okay, but I'm putting it down there. Oh, this one's so scratchy. And there's always shadows under the hairline. I do not use this color though in the part of our hairline. That's actually reserved for a different color. 2 reasons. 1, her hair's brown, so if I put this right in there, it just looks like her hair blended right in. But 2, our scalps are not that dark. Okay, let's see. Now, how long will it take to build all these layers? No idea. But that's because I want to build them up since I've never used these for skin. You can build them up all you want, but once you just like lay it down too heavy, it's not as easy to go and change. So all right, now we're on medium almond. I do like with the way they've like labeled their colors. Oh, FYI, I'm not going to color a ton in her eyes, but that's because I need to leave tooth of the paper here for her makeup. So I'm only coloring the parts where I need it for the skin specifically. So if her eyes look kind of wacky because they're just hanging out with no color, it's because I plan to do a nice smoky eye. So I'm not ignoring them. I'm just kind of leaving them for now. But I do like the way they labeled their colors. Like, so they have the almond family, the rose family, the golden family. I think that's the 3, right? Yeah. Almond, golden, rose. Yeah. And it kind of plays off like the underlying colors. So it's nice, especially when you're creating skin tones. Okay. Get around her lips here. Stay on camera. Oh, I forgot to turn on the heater in my art studio again. This is becoming a bad thing to forget. I always add a little curve to the chin just under the lower lip. Kind of creates the chin. You can be as bold with it as you want. And then I do overlap what I already put down. So like I'm overlapping my darker color, but this is because I'm building up my color. Yes, patience, patience, and then a little bit more patience. I have to remind myself that because I prefer to color in as few layers as possible. So when I first started doing portraits, I had to constantly remind myself that I had to do layers. There's just no way around it. Not if you want it to look good, at least. I mean, I could do a single layer portrait, but the skin tone just, well, it'll look like I used a single layer because you've got to build them up. So yes, patience, patience and layers. And then a little extra patience if you're using a pencil you're not used to, so you don't know how well it layers or blends, or if even the colors are gonna translate how you want them. All things to keep in mind. All right. Will my book be in libraries? Not for a while. Not for a while. That requires me to start speaking with distribution partners, and because there are so many romance authors out there, really it's hard to get newer ones into libraries. I'm not going to lie to you. So that's probably not going to happen unless the book takes off. But like I said, you can get it for free if you have Kindle Unlimited. I love Kindle Unlimited. Now, if you read the book on Kindle Unlimited, fun fact, the authors only get paid by the number of book or pages read. People don't realize that. So, like, even when I read other authors, I always mark the book as finished because I want them to get credit. Like, because you'll finish the book, but then, there's like those, I don't know, anywhere from 6 to 10 pages at the end. So your Kindle will be like 99% read, and you're like, but I finished it. So I always mark it as finished. But yeah, authors get paid by the pages read. It's a weird system, but it makes sense because how else would they calculate it on unlimited, Because a download isn't necessarily a fair way for them to pay out either. So the more pages read, that's how you get paid on that one. I was looking at my stats yesterday, and either one person or a few were on like a reading spree yesterday. It was Saturday, but there was a ton of pages read yesterday. I was like, whoa. But I relate to that completely because I can sit down and read an 800-page book in a Saturday because that's just what I do. I did get a new printer. Yes. My other one had broke, and I got a new one. It's an HP. Is it in the description of this video? I know I added it to my defaults, my upload defaults, but I don't know if I did that before I created this. So check the description because it might be in there. And the printer I ended up using. I tested it out for a few weeks, and it does great with this Nina cardstock, which is also listed in the description. You'll have to scroll down because it's in my section of like common things I use. But the printer and the paper are there. And yeah, it works good. It's an HP. I never thought I'd buy an HP because I always bought Brother printers, but this one is doing great. It does blow through toner way faster than my Brother, though. And the toner is so expensive. Oh my gosh. With my Etsy store, and I'm printing out like packing sheets. Whew. Let's just say that gets pricey. All right, so now we are moving on to Peach. This is the one that comes from the regular set, and it's not in the Colors of the World. But I needed some peachy undertones that just weren't present. Even like their golden colors were just either too brown or, yeah, they were lacking that peachish color that I needed. At least for this skin combo I'm trying out. I might regret it later if it comes off too orangey, because it is pretty orangey peach, but if I keep it layered with all these browns and more neutral colors, I think we'll be okay. Now this one I'm going to take across her brow. These colors are so light with pigment. Like if I was doing these light of layers with Prisma, you would still see them really well. But that's Prisma. They're just so opaque and luscious. Yes, I'm a fan. A very biased fan. But at least I admit it. All right, I'm going to pull this color out a little further. Kind of almost using this to tone down some of this brown. But also I needed a better segue into some of the lighter colors. I'm curious to see how many layers you can do with Crayola. I've done like layer tests with my other brands of pencils, but I've actually never done it with Crayola. Probably should. It also depends on the paper you're using, because some paper can take on more layers, but like if I were to say, take this Nina here and see how many layers I could put down, it'd be interesting to see. I'm going to adjust these blinds. There we go. Oh, okay, so it's not in there. Yeah, I must have added it after, because I had a few comments, and so I was like, oh, I should probably put that in my description default. But I didn't know if I had done it before or after I had already created this. I'm going to add some of this peach up in here. I will, what I'll do after this stream is I'll put it in a pinned comment on the stream. Just in case anyone else wants to know what it was. Okay. Now I've got light medium almond. I think she would look good with a nice smoky eye. And this is kind of my color that's going to go everywhere except where my highlights are. But I'm still putting it down lightly. And holding my pencil super far back so that me and my heavy-handedness don't get tempted. Especially with patience. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'll put down a little bit more pigment, a little faster. I did that when I was testing out Arctics, and then she came out a little too orange and I had to sit there and correct it. So, lesson learned. Doesn't matter how much of a hurry you're in, just take your time. Nothing worse than orangey skin. Okay, let's get more of her nose here. And I'm not going too deep into the eye because I need it, so I need the tooth so I can do the makeup. Oh, scratchy pencils. Never done a smoky eye with Crayola, but it can't be that hard. All right. So like on my end, I can see the highlight that I put down before I put everything else down, but on your end, you probably just see white paper. And then also my pencil, like when you're using light pressure, you'll feel it hit that part where you already colored. Just a tiny bit of resistance, but you feel it. Definitely need to work out building out her nose. Since this is my all over color, I'm going a little bit faster. But it's a really light color and I'm still using light layers. I just kind of want to get it down, mix it with some of the other layers, and then go back to all over again. Okay. Wait, the printer is there or the printer isn't there? And hi, Shannon. I still need to fix this camera because it's not showing as much as it can. Hold that thought. Oh, printer is not there. Okay, yeah. I will definitely get... No, I don't want her coming off orangey. I'll definitely add that later. There we go. Now our color's actually showing. Okay. So I'm back to my very light almond, which might as well be called very light white almond because it's barely anything. Almost white. Isn't that what it was called in... No. Was it in... there's a brand out there that has like one that says almost white or something like that. Or am I losing my mind? It's entirely possible that I'm losing my mind. Yeah, the HP I got, I bet you it's a newer printer, so I bet you it goes on sale for Black Friday if any of you are waiting for good deals. Since it is a newer model. My brother that I had forever, that one was so hard to link for you guys because it was like 10 years old and you couldn't buy it anymore. And I was going to buy its newer version, but then the HP one, just, I don't know, something about it. It caught me. All right, so now we're using deep almond. We're going to go in and start building up these shading a little bit. But as with most laser, it is a laser printer, by the way. I don't buy inkjet. Inkjet are cheaper, but because I use a lot of markers or I'll blend or I use watercolors, I like inkjet, not ink, sorry. I like laser jet because I can use markers and the lines don't bleed. Granted, you can look for ink cartridges in your inkjet that don't bleed, but that's too much hassle for me. You could also like secure it after you print it with a fixative, but again, I don't feel like doing that. So I always use a laser jet. It's great. Nothing blends. Like I could use a blender pencil right over it and it's not going to, the lines aren't going to move. Or I can use marker. Marker is the biggest offender. That's where it just, ugh, you get all this nasty bleed. Or like even if you're using, say, distress inks to create your background, oh, that's the worst when that happens. All that work and then it just bleeds right in. So yeah, I don't like inkjet. They are cheaper though. But like this one has the typical 5 cartridges. 4 cartridges, 5 cartridges. I don't know. They're so pricey. Ugh. It's like for Etsy, I try to print all my packing slips in black and white so that I'm only replacing the black cartridge. Like, I think I'd go broke if I had to sit there and replace all the colored ones all the time. Because I go about a cartridge a month, even though it's like a high yield one. Printers, technology, everything costs money. Need more free stuff in my life. Yes, I said actually at the beginning of the stream, I need to do different skin tones. It's just, I do them privately and then I'll like, show them in my completed pages and I just forget. And it's not a slight towards anything. I just tend to start coloring with what I color the most, especially when I'm using a pencil that I've never used to color skin before. But I do have color combos for them. I just don't get around to it. But it's on my list. I know I need to do more of them. I think red lips would look really nice, like a nice bright red. Then I'm almost thinking like a charcoaled eye with a hint of blue, maybe. I haven't decided what eye color I'm going to give her, though, and that kind of determines the eye makeup. Although I will say for Native American skin, I'm Native American and I am very pale right now. So this skin color is spot on for mine. In the summer, that's when I'm nice and dark. In the winter, I hibernate, so I just get all pale. I do have the combos in Prisma. I would need to convert them to other brands, though. From Germany. Ooh, what time is it in Germany? I'm so bad at like time zones. Heck, half the time I'm sitting here like, is New York 2 hours ahead, 1 hour ahead? What are we again? And then Arizona. I'm like, crap, are they in my time zone again or are they not now? Oh, funny. I'm Cherokee. I live in the worst state for it, though, because there's not anybody out here. Well, there's a chapter out here, but I should move to Arizona. Never mind, Arizona's cactus and hot weather. But like my friend who's out in Arizona, still working for the company I used to work for, he's like, yeah, it's 88 today. And I'm sitting here looking outside where it's snowing. I'm like, yep. I don't know if I could live like that. It's too hot. 6:35. Dark Sense 4? All right, we're moving on to medium almond. Does it normally, like in the winter, get darker that early out there? Oh my gosh, if it got dark here at 4, because I'm already struggling with the time change, I would be ready for bed by 7. Because I'm already, like right now, with the time change screwing me up because we fell back. I'm like, I don't know. I'll be sitting there like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I need to get the kids in bed. And then I'll look over at the clock and it's like 6:30. And I'm like, what time did I eat dinner? Oh, it's awful. Awful, awful. But yeah, it's that'd be interesting if it got dark at 4 here. It'd make my life easier though, because I was just saying at the beginning of the stream, I'm actually thinking because my body just refuses to adjust to this time change. I don't know about you guys, but my body's like, yeah, no, we're not doing this. So I'm honestly thinking of just starting to go to bed at 8 or 9 because that's what my body wants, and just get up at 4 or 5 because I've been doing that anyways. I'm constantly up before my alarm. And it's kind of nice because I get extra hours of the house quiet, which I never get at night, especially because I have a teenager now who just doesn't believe in going to bed before 11. But yeah, I'm thinking of doing that. And then that way I get some like alone time. And then I tend to do a lot of my good writing in the morning. But the problem is, most of the time the kids are up and they're getting ready for school. So they're constantly like interrupting me. So it might be good to just go to bed early, get up early, and start my thing. I don't know, we'll see. Problem is when my husband's on duty, I can't just be like, all right, I'm going to bed at 8. Like, someone has to be awake and monitor the kids. It's funny how her forehead looks so much darker, but it's a smaller, more compact space. Wait, it stays sunny and light till like 11 p.m.? That's crazy. I don't know if I could handle that. Just like, isn't it Alaska where they like have never-ending sunlight for that brief period of time? Oh, I just remember that one movie. That would drive me mad. I would be so screwed up, like, because obviously light and dark really can mess with your circadian rhythms. But man, till 11, my kids would be up. Like, I hate it in the summer here because they're like, it's still light outside and it's close to, 10 in the summer. I'm like, no, go to bed. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of sun. But I guess it would be good, like, if you had a farm. Growing stuff. All right, we're using that peach. Again, that's the one color, not from Colors of the Wonder, or Colors of the Wonder, Colors of the World. But it's because I needed some peaches. Otherwise, her skin tone would have come out a little bit too much on the brown side. Not brown, but like just flat. It wouldn't look real-ish. I don't know how real-ish it's going to get because I'm new to using Crayola anyway for skin, but we're going to layer till it looks pretty. And the peach really does help around some of these browns. And I do need to break out my blush colors as well before I get too many layers down. Okay, let's see. It seems to be taking the layers pretty good. Like I said, the Crayola are pretty transparent. It's just because their pigment is so light, but they're not like, I'm trying to think of another cheaper brand of pencil that's similar. Not Arctics, because Arctics, you get wax bloom, and they definitely have a lot of buildup with their fillers, but I'm trying to think of something else. But I can't. I'm trying to think of something that has a harder lead like the Crayola. And they obviously have fillers in them, but they're not so gunky that they build up, if that makes any sense. They build up in a bad way. I want to build up the color, not the filler. Okay. It's dark at 5:30. Let's see, I guess You know, around here, I would have to say it probably gets dark close to 536. Now that I think of it, this is the light medium almond. No, not the colors. I've used those. They're a little bit softer than Crayola. I want to say Castle Art. Castle Art get too dusty. It'll come to me. Yeah, I would say like 536 it starts getting dark around here. Last few days we've had snow. None of it actually stuck longer than like an hour. It's all up in the mountains though. But we've had snow coming down. It's kind of funny because you'll just look, like I'll be sitting there, you know, typing away at my desk, look out my window and it's snowing. I'm like, oh, weatherman did not mention that one. So it's kind of welcome to Utah fall, where it's really just winter and fall battling it out. And winter always wins in the end because you'll just get random snowstorms that weren't supposed to happen that day. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna make those like little rhinestone piercings or something, those little dots there. I don't know if that was her intention, but that's what I'm doing with it. These ones, it's kind of a weird place to have piercings, but I'm gonna just do it anyway. Ooh, it'd be fun to make them like little ruby red ones. We'll see. Of course, I adjust my color so you guys can see it, and now she's coming off orangier than she is. Can't win. I gotta go turn down my contrast. I haven't used Xena color. I've heard a lot of things about them, but I haven't used them. Yeah, the Color have a lot of pigment, but they build up with filler quite quickly. So it's not, they're definitely not a comparison for these ones. Because when I would sit there and swatch them, like when I swatched like 500 of them, or was it 520? I don't know. There was 500 plus. Even while swatching, you could feel it. So yeah, I can't think of a good comparison. All right, let me grab some of my blush-y colors real quick. Again, if you've come in late and you're wondering why her eyes are just staying so white, that's because I will be I'm doing smoky eye makeup, so I'm not going to bother putting my colors over it. Now, typically when I am coloring skin, if I know there's going to be eye makeup, I actually do the eye makeup first. I just didn't want to do that in this case. So like normally if I was already planning on doing her eye makeup all smoky and stuff, that would already be colored and then I would start doing the skin around it. That's what I normally do for my portraits. Okay, this is Deep Rose, which kind of reminds me of a henna, like the henna color from Prisma. But yeah, I typically do the makeup first. If I know I'm giving them makeup and they're not going to be au naturel. But in this case, she's just going to be left all blank up here. And I need to leave the sides and not touch those too much, as well as under her eye. I have to be careful because I need enough tooth to create a smoky eye. I want it like super smoky. She's going to be like my rebel girl with her tattoo. Yeah, this color reminds me a lot of henna from Prismacolor. Okay. And then I am taking light medium rose, also from Colors of the World. I keep wanting to say Colors of the Wonder. Can we just change the name? My stomach is growling, so I really hope that doesn't get picked up on camera. I don't know why. I don't ever eat breakfast. Yes, I know that's not healthy, but it is what I am. If I eat breakfast, I almost am more sluggish. Like my body's like, oh, now I gotta digest food. I can't do anything else. Then I always like to add a little pink on the nose. Not to the point where she's like rivaling Rudolph, just a little bit of pink. Or in this case, a lot, because it takes a while to get the pigment to show up. Yeah, you don't want to make her Rudolph, just add a touch of pink there. I would normally be adding this up in her eyes, but again, we're leaving those for the smoky eye makeup. Okay, and then I'm taking my light almond. I'll come back and add more later too. I just wanted to see how it looked against the colors I already got down. This is an interesting color. It's crazy because the lead on these is so dark, but the color itself when it comes out is not even close. So like when you're doing this, this is the shadows of her cheekbones. You know, if we all had that really perfect face that we all want. This is the shadow of her cheekbones. Her cheekbones are all nice and poofy right here. And then up here is the apple of her cheekbones. Of course, you can take any page really, unless the artist specifically makes the grayscale show it and make her cheekbones as prominent as you want. It's easier with line art because then you have a little bit more give, whereas sometimes when the artist adds a little bit too much shading, it's like, well, I'm limited. All right. Here we are again, deep almond. I'm going to be a little bit more liberal with the color now. Because I do think this will work just fine and dandy. I do have a colorless blender because I am probably not going to have the patience to literally layer this till it's smooth with Crayola. I mean, I layer it a lot with Prisma, and even then I'm like, colorless blender after like layer 8. So yeah. But I did pull out my Korilynn VanDyke full blender. I know the full blender is harder to get, but this one is what I'll probably use with the Crayola. My favorite blender is Splendor Blender, but I do not like how it works with Crayola. So I typically use the Korilynn VanDyke with Crayola. I feel like with Splendor Blender, it works great, but you need something a little bit more soft with the wax, and then you get like a good result. But with these pencils like this, harder ones like this, even my polychromos, I tend to use the Korilynn VanDyke with my polys. Definitely with my Pablos. All right. Let's get, yeah, I'm gonna add more. So I'm using more of a medium pressure now, since I've got, what, 3 layers down? So that I can deepen it up, but I already know it's gonna work out. Okay. Now I've got my medium almond. This medium almond is scratchy, but it also did not want to sharpen. It kept snapping off at the tip. But like I said, when I went to sharpen these, they were like, they had some crazy resistance going on. Now I'm going to bring this color out a little bit more so that my peach, when I go back to peach, it's going to overlap out a little more as well, but also not be so peachy. And then I don't want this much white space. So I'm going to bring this out more now that I've seen how it looks. And this comes across the brow, right at the bridge of the nose. So like with skin, you could use as many as 4 pencils, or you could use as many as like 12. It's up to you on how crazy you want to get with layers and what you're going for. But even my more simple skin combo has, what, 7 colors? So can I do it in 3? Yes, because that's what I do in like Hannah Lynn pages, but that's because I'm going for a different look in the Hannah Lynn pages than I am, like, say, with this portrait. So just keep that, like, that's what I keep in mind, like, what am I coloring? Always create my circle here. That helps, and then, you know, there's like a little bit of shading in that little divot between where your nose is. Well, it is on your nose, but between the point of your nose is what I meant to say. Where the point of your nose is, not where your nose is. All right. Just keep going. I'm still using the medium almond. I'm just using, like I said, more medium pressure now. I'm pulling out the medium almond color a little further than I had before as well. Yeah, I don't know how much the camera gets the scratchy sound. Can you guys hear the scratchy sound? Oh. So I don't like toothy paper. That's why I use this Nina. Because I can't handle toothy paper. Me and toothy paper, nope. Like, I know everyone loves the Strathmore or the Bristol, and I'm just like, oh gosh. But the drawback when you have a really smooth cardstock is, one, you can't do as many layers if you need to, but like we all know, I try to use as few as possible. I only use as many as necessary to get the job done. But at least with the more toothy paper, you don't have to hear as much of the scratchies. Because gosh, does that noise get me. It's just one of those sounds. And even though I'm using more of a medium pressure, I'm still holding back on the pencil, because otherwise, if I hold it up here, I will use a heavier pressure. It's just a bad old habit. Okay, I'm going to grab Peach. I'm still going to go light pressure on this one because the peach is pretty peachy. And I don't want her to look like she has a fake tan thing going on. A bad spray tan event happened in her life. When drawing portraits, like literally you're going to draw the portrait from start to finish, like draw this gal out and then color her, you mean? Because I have drawn some portraits. Have I ever shared those? I don't think I have. But I draw on my Procreate program. So I did put that paper, like, film you can put on your iPad so it feels like you're drawing on paper. That's so nice. I love that stuff. But I mean, if I were to like legit old school sketch something, I would need a toothier paper, but then I would hate to color it on that toothier paper. But it's also preference and pencils that you're using, and what are you using to even sketch? Are you going to leave it as pencil after you sketch it? Are you going to go over it with anything else? There's a lot of factors. And then again, personal preference kind of weighs right in there. All right, now we're on light medium almond. Believe it or not, her forehead is almost done. I grab a little bit of green. But on my end, she's not looking as orangey, so but yeah, like anything I draw, I typically do in Procreate. I have a sketchbook lying around here somewhere, but I got tired of it. Especially when I got the iPad, I was like, this is so cool. Plus, then you can do layers. You can do your rough sketch and then go over it with a nicer, and then just like remove the layer. You don't have to retrace it or erase anything. Man, it's awesome. The bodyguard. So I was just talking to Shannon yesterday, the day before, because someone had screenshotted, I think it was you, and a couple other people had said it in, I think, Shannon's live stream. But then I've also had a few people message me about the bodyguard. So I found that really funny. So which bodyguard? Are you talking about Antonio? He's the main bodyguard driver. But yeah, I've actually had a few requests sent to me. He is in book 2, actually. Not as much, but I had quite a few requests, so I'm like, maybe I'll add him in just a little bit more in book 2. I don't know if he'll get his own book, though. I hadn't intended on it, but I didn't realize so many people were gonna like him. Like he was just, a side character, but it's interesting because there's quite a few people that really like him. So I find that kind of funny. The teddy bear with a gun. As he likes to, or as he's called. Yeah, that's Antonio. Yep, I've had quite a few requests for more Antonio, so I am slipping more of him into book 2 than I had planned. And yeah, we'll go from there. I found that so interesting, though. He was a fun character to build, but I really didn't expect him to, be someone that people locked onto. But you're not the first. A lot of people have really liked him. Shannon liked him too. So I'm adding him a bit more in book 2, and we'll see. Maybe I'll make a book for him. I don't know. I hadn't planned on it, so I'll have to think on it. But the parts I've added of him in book 2 are pretty good. He has a nice personality. I think I had put in my pen names Instagram a vote for the next characters people want to see with a book, and I did put him on there. I need to go look at the results of that. Drool-worthy. You think he's drool-worthy? I am curious though, for those who like really did like the Antonio character, what is it that made you like him? Like, because like I said, when I wrote him, I mean, I had some fun adding him in there, obviously, because I gave him a little bit of a personality you wouldn't expect, because drivers are quiet, right? But I'm just curious what draws you to him. Because that was very unexpected when people were like, I like this one. Like, oh. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just curious what it is. All right. Oh, by the way, this is very light almond. I'm just kind of putting it in some areas where I accidentally went a little bit over with some of my colors. Like I said, it's pretty close to a white. It's such a soft pink color. And then when I do my last layer, I'll actually go over it with my lightest color, but because this is down, whatever I go over it with is not going to cover it up. It'll be lighter. Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. Okay. Let me get my blushy colors. All right. Oh my gosh, dropping things left and right today. All right, so we've got our deep rose. Just gonna get this in here a little bit darker. So the audiobook for my book, I have a duet couple doing their final interview or audition. They'll be sending it to me this week, but I'm super excited because the female is exactly what I wanted. Even like because she's super sweet, but then when she lets out that tiny bit of sass, like I'm seriously drooling over the tape she sent. I'm like, oh, it's so perfect. So they're putting in their final audition tape this week. And yeah. So this is light medium rose. But then once we finalize our agreement, audiobooks still take 2 to 3 months to do. So yeah, it's a little bit out there, but it will be out and it will be in duet. And I've already talked to them about the closed door edition, if they would be okay coming back to do that one. And they said yes. So it'll be the same voice actors in both, which will be nice because then they'll already know the book too. So it'll be easier for them. Okay. Now I'm on to my light almond, which is really just a pink. Are almonds pink? I mean, almonds aren't really pink on the inside. Are they? I'm like questioning my life here. I've seen a lot of slivered almonds and they're not pinkish, but maybe... No, they're not. They're not. It's an interesting name choice. I don't know. Are raw almonds pink and maybe when they're roasted? No, because I've seen raw almonds. I don't know. Why the almond? It's throwing me off. Clearly. All right. The story practically writes itself. You crack me up. That's funny. I'm gonna take this deep rose. It is true. How did he get his job, huh? I do sort of mention in the book why they have bodyguards. It's because of their last name and things associated with it. But yeah. Nona. I'd almost have to do a back in time book for her though. All right, we're with our deep almond now. Nona was fun. Only because, like, she kind of mirrored my own grandma in a way, outside of my grandma was not Italian, but she spoke like that. She was a very open, had no problem sharing her opinion kind of gal. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. I don't know if I'll write a book for Nona, though. Because, yeah, like I said, I picture my grandmother, and I don't know if I can write a romance novel. Ah, oh man, that just gave me EBGB chills. So probably not a book there. Maybe she'll get a novella. I know. Yes, Shannon did tell me. I'm just surprised that so many people like were drawn to him. My teddy bear, my big teddy bear. Is he sinfully hot because he has tattoos all over? Come on, tell me. A lot of people are drawn to that. I'm pretty sure that's what it is too. You just get to that age where you're like, I don't have to filter anything, and out it comes, no matter how much it embarrasses your grandchildren. All right, now we are on to medium almond. Yeah, because my own grandma was just like anything that came to her mind. I was like, whoa. Especially as you got older, then the filter really just went away because they were like, well, you're an adult, so you can hear this. And you're like, but I don't want to. There's just some things I don't need to know. And here we are. And as much as Shannon hates it, Julian gets his own book. She'll probably disown me after that one, though. Well, in book 2, he's actually sitting there holding a little infant. It's kind of cute. All tatted and tough, but holding an infant. It's kind of fun. It kind of creates a really funny image in your head. Hey, I'm all for character redemption arcs. He will redeem. Or he won't. I don't know. Maybe he'll just be evil. We'll find out. But I do have his already started. I actually started it a while ago. Can't turn back now. still my ovaries. Oh my gosh, that's the best word. Best line of the day. Right there. In fact, I just wrote that scene this morning. And so I was kind of laughing about it. Because you get a picture like a really tough, huge guy who was a bodyguard, but like I said, teddy bear with a gun. Because he's actually very nice. But he's sitting there like holding a little infant, and his hands are pretty much as big as the infant. But he's like all sweet and stuff. Yep. So there go your ovaries. Once I blend this out, I'll get to where I want it. But I don't want to blend until I'm positive, because there's nothing worse than coloring over a Korilynn VanDyke blender. Ugh, it's just too slippery. Can I get her nose a little bit more curved right here? My next fictional ex-husband. So Antonio's going to be your book boyfriend. Book boyfriend / book husband. I've had people ask why I picked Italian. It's the accent. If you want me to be completely honest, that was all. That's it. What can I say? I was like, you know, it would be nice writing a character that I would like. The accent. All right. Grab my peach. Yes, I'm hoping book 2. Well, book 2, no matter what, will come. No matter what. It's already up there on the Amazon store. It comes out December 31st. But I'm hoping to get it to the beta readers by the end of this month, which shouldn't be a problem because it's pretty much almost done. Except for me adding in a few more things. And yeah, haven't done the ending yet. And then book 3 is probably mid-March is the date I've actually set for it. It may come out sooner than that, but on Amazon you'll see it under the series page as mid-March right now. So we'll see. But there's other characters you've met in those books that'll actually break away into their own series that's already been mapped out and planned out in my little head. Well, also my Google sheet. So pretty much anyone you meet in a book is likely to appear either in the same series or their own series. This is light, medium, almond. Here soon, because it's all interconnected in some way. So yeah, I have 3 for this one so far that are mapped out for sure, and then a couple others are going to break off into their own. Skin with Crayola takes forever. It wouldn't take this long normally if I was like familiar with how the colors layered down, but because I'm not. It's taking a little longer. So I do apologize, but hey, we're chatting, you're learning, you got a color combo to play with. And I'll take a picture after so you can see it because like I said, on my camera, it looks a lot different than what's right in front of me, which is annoying the crapola out of me. I think I need to update the software. It did, in fact, ask me to update, so I do need to update. Yes, Marco will have a book, but I'm not sure if it's going to be in here or break off into its own series for a few reasons. So, but he will have a book. I just haven't decided if it's going to be in this series or not. But like book 1 had quite a few characters and names mentioned, and all of them have series already mapped out. In fact, one of them was a series I had already started writing long before this one. So that book 1 was like halfway done. And then I was like, I don't want to write this one right now. So yeah. And then in book 2, you're going to meet more people that actually have play roles in other series. It's just one big happy family. But I prefer it that way because then people like pop up again, including characters like you like. They'll still be in other series too because they're interconnected in some wacky, weird way. Sometimes it's little and you won't see them a lot. Other times it's big and you'll see them a bunch. But it's kind of fun. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking he'll be in his own because I actually have an idea for where I want to or what I want to do with this series with him. So, he's likely to pop up on his own. And we'll see. I'm just touching up some of this. Like I said, I'll snap a picture after because it's not quite as accurate. And we're going to get... I don't know how many layers I've done. Has anyone kept count? Is this 6? I don't know. Still pretty good. Like this is, like I said, a smooth cardstock, so you can't do a ton of layers. So you always have to keep that in mind when you're putting down your colors, like how many layers am I going to get from this pencil on there before it just won't take. I'm just kind of filling in. I feel like this one needs to be a little bit darker down here too. And then once I blend it out and make it a little smoother, it'll look good. But yeah, I'll definitely take a picture because I want you guys to be able to see it a little better. Oh, where's that color? There it is. There it is. Okay. Do like this set of pencils. It's like a cool and creative way to add to their overall palette. And when you look at it on the chart, like I said, I got my chart from Emily Illustrator, so she has them up there. But if you look at it, it really does give you a ton of like earth tones too. So like say you don't want to color portraits, but you want to do some landscapes or whatever, you get a really good variety of more earthy neutrals and whatnot. So just something to keep in mind. But I have that 100 count box, and then I have this box. Could you make a skin tone without these? Yes, you could with the 100 count. But the colors that came in this set definitely help. they have a few colors that would make it easier. Like, I think if I went from the 100 count set, there would be a little bit more layering I'd have to do because they don't have a ton of in between. So yeah, there would be some that I would have to layer up. And then I'd probably have to do some color correcting colors if I use the original set of 100 that I had, just because they're not quite, like some are too orange, some are just pinkish and nothing else. So this definitely is a good addition. And like I said, it was like $4.99 or something like that. It was crazy. For a while, you like could not get them at all on Amazon. All right, my light medium almond. There was like a little stint there where they just weren't available. We live down the street from the church and everyone's walking to church right now. I don't know how they do it. Like, no one's wearing jackets and it's like not even 40 outside. Aren't you guys cold? Ooh. Oh yeah, thank you. That's the link to her chart. She has a bunch on there. I've used quite a few of her charts in the past. I think I have her Black Widow one. I also use the one from Color with Claire for Black Widow for the color families. But she has a chart for pretty much all of them. I have her Pablo. I think my Brute Fooner chart is from her as well. This is why I don't make charts. There's plenty of people that have already done the dirty work. Why would I bother? All right. Let's do some blending. So like I said, I'm using my Korilyn VanDyke full blender. You could also, oh gosh, where is it? These are like gold to me. Where did it go? Let's see, not Kalura. This is by far the worst blender I've ever used in my life. Oh, okay. There's this Korilyn VanDyke blender too that has the wood and it isn't the full blender. I only have, oh man, I'm running low. I've got like, what, 2, 3 full blenders left. Oh no. I love my full blenders. I hate that they like encased them in wood. It's the stupidest move ever. Like, this is brilliant. This is not wasteful. It's a full blender that you can use down to the very last drop. No trees had to sacrifice breathing. Well, then again, sacrifice helping us breathe to be made. Like, I don't know. It was just dumb. I get it, though, like the cost for them, but still. Like, that was one of the things that fascinated me about these blenders when they first came out. I was like, it's full blender. Like, literally, every inch of that blender can be used. I know so many people argued against it when they like started talking about, I'm not going to blend right here because I need the makeup there, so I'm going to avoid that. So many people were like, no, please don't do that, and they didn't care. But they're Korilyn VanDyke. They're big enough. They don't have to necessarily take our opinions. It's kind of like Copic or Prisma or any of the others. Or Derwent, when I'm like, quit playing around with ChromaFlow and make the drawing pencils bigger. Give me a big, fat, juicy line of drawing pencils, because I know you can't do much with Graphitint. I get it. But you can expand the drawing pencil line. Or heck, go back to your ColorSoft and adjust the formula and re-release those. Just leave the ChromaFlow alone. Or make the ChromaFlow fat and chunky like the rest of Derwent pencils, because that part irks me. And then it'll have one good quality that I might like, as opposed to right now where I'm like, it's skinny, it's stupid. Like, I really don't like that they made it skinny. I don't understand why they did that. All of their pencils are chunky monkey, and then they're like, you know what would be fun? To make this one super tiny. Just makes you feel like you got ripped off, too. I think with the Korilynn VanDyke blender, though, you can still get the full blender in the 2-pack with the wood blender, right? Or did they stop that? I haven't shopped for them in a while, so to be honest, I don't know. But that's how they were selling them before. Really should go on eBay and see if anyone else is selling full blenders still. When it first happened, people were selling them for like ridiculous amounts of money. It's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not that in love with the full blender. So with this blender, you're not blending to push colors around. It's not like a Prismacolor blender where it tends to drag your colors. You're really just smoothing it out, filling in the tooth, bringing all those colors together. It actually leaves like a little sheen on top. In some cases with some colors, it can actually kind of make them look a little bit opaque as they're finished. But that's all this blender is doing. So like I do little circular motions to kind of blend everything nice and smooth. But yeah, you're not dragging your colors, but you do, like, say if you're blending like a darker color and you move to light, you want to clean off your blender so you don't transfer it over. But also, if you're going to use this blender, just keep in mind it's going to be very hard to keep adding layers on top. Like, because that waxy sheen it leaves, it's pretty hard to keep adding on top of that. You can, I've done it before, but it's not easy. It's like a slip and slide for your pencils. And I don't press hard with this either. Use just kind of a medium pressure. It's just more so I can get the colors to come together a little bit better. But I have certain blenders I use for certain pencils. I think I made a video. No, I did like a comparison, but I don't think I made a video on what blenders I use specifically for what pencils. It was just showing you the different blenders, I think. But yeah, like for me, I have preferences on what blenders I break out for what pencils. Sketchbox. Ooh, if you have some and you don't want them, send them to me. I always want them. These are like, I love these. I use these a lot with like polychromos. They're my favorite with polychromos. Splendor Blender is my favorite, but it doesn't work for everything. Okay, so I know she looks kind of orangey on camera, but on my side, she's not. If it's, can we adjust the angle? Meh. She'll also look a lot better once you fill in her eyes, lips, and all that. Sometimes skin can look a little wacky when you're like, there's nothing there. But like, especially when I start doing her eye makeup, that'll round everything out. But I'll take a picture after because she's really not that orangey. The orangey thing is kind of bugging me because she's not orangey. And yes, orangey is a term now. All right. Yeah, I've tried the Color blender. Gosh, I hate that thing. That should be just tossed in the trash. I can't get behind the Derwent blenders and burnishers. I know everyone loves them, but I don't. Something about them. But the blenders I use the most is the full Korilynn VanDyke blender. And then I use the Splendor blender, and then sometimes I use my Prisma blender especially if I'm working on like Create Space. So all the other blender pencils I have are basically just going to waste. I should probably just send them to people who like those ones. All right. Oh, that's weird. I got a message that chat disconnected. Did it do that to anyone else? Because, yeah, like this thing popped up saying chat disconnected. And then now it says it's reconnected. But it did that this morning when I first started my live stream, too. Curious if it's showing up on your guys' end. No, it's not from ads. Ads don't disconnect the chat because there's still people who don't see the ads. So it's not that. But yeah, I had that this morning when I first started streaming. It said chat disconnected. And so I was like, okay. There's like a huge earring here. If you're wondering why she's got this like white space, it's like she's got some big jewel. But there, I can't make one out over here, so I don't know. But yeah, the ads don't disconnect chat on my end because there's a lot of people with YouTube Premium that don't even watch ads, so or see ads, I should say. Don't have to see them. There we go. All right. It's funny because I tend to take my time, my sweet, precious little time with the face, but then when I get to the neck and all that, I'm like, yeah, I got this. And it's a little bit easier. All right. Still using the same colors. I'm not going to color over the tattoo because, like I said, I'm going to color them in grayscale. Do I have a picture around here where I've done that before? Oh, I do. Hold that thought. I had to pull this off my wall. But see here, I colored it in grayscale so it would look like a tattoo. Sorry, it's framed. So, but yeah, I like to do that with tattoos, is color them in grayscale. This is a Mariola Blue deck with Color Soft, I think. Yeah. Now I'm going to have to hang that back up. But thanks to command strips, you can rip them off the wall. It's like a gauge earring of some kind. It could just be a normal earring, just a huge gemstone. Who knows? Like, I'm going to color it like a little gem that matches her piercings. Haven't decided if I'm going to do like rubies or what. Collarbone is wacky here. But yeah, it could just be like a big earring. Because, I mean, you can have like little, oh my gosh, what are they called? Studs. There we go. Like a little stud earring, but it has a huge gem on it. But yeah, with tattoos, I don't know. I rarely color them in with like colors. I tend to always grayscale them out. And I know that you can get your tattoos in colors. I've seen them. My husband has them. But I don't know. I just tend to do gray. It's kind of fun. And you can still make them look like they have a lot of depth to them. And when it comes to like the skin on the rest of the body, I'll usually do like 2 or 3 layers. I don't go as many as the face. That's just because, I don't know, there's not as much going there. Now, she has a column of her neck here. So I want to kind of add a little bit. Like the artist didn't put it there, but I'm just going to add that teensy bit of shadow there to create that part in her throat. Do you have to? No, you could just color that straight across, but I like to color that out and then just make it a little bit lighter as it curves. Not giving her an Adam's apple, don't confuse it with that. Two different things. You know, when you're young and your neck skin's all tight and you have that perfect little throat there, that's what we're creating. You know, those days. I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, I need a turtleneck. Or worse, you're like in a meeting on Zoom or something and you realize like you're slouching, so it makes you look like your neck's all messy. So you have to stand up straight, like you almost like a, is it ostrich or whatever, where you stick your neck up. Ah. Even without my neck, I'm about to put on turtlenecks. I'm freezing all the time. Ah. It's always cold in this art studio because the door is always closed, so it doesn't get all the same level of heat. And the window that it's facing, it doesn't heat up in here until late afternoon from the sunlight. So like this time of the day, I'm just like, oh, so cold. So cold. So the tattoos, you don't want to create a shadow around your tattoo. Like, cause it's not like a sticker on her. It's part of her skin. So like when you're creating it, you don't want to like create shadows around it as if it's casting a shadow. You can if that was like the tattoo artist's effect, but just keep that in mind. Like it's not an object. Like I'm not creating a curve like I am with the column of her throat here or her nose, because it's on her skin. It's there. If that makes sense. Because I used to do that, and then one time I was like, wait, why did I create a shadow? It's her part of her skin. It's not casting a shadow. So just wanted to save you from making that same problem. Oh, front facing camera on. You know what sucks is, so I'm new to TikTok, but because I have books, I've now got to be on Book Talk. Sorry, a book. So I'm getting used to the whole book talk thing, which is quite fascinating watching all the book talks. But yeah, like I go to post a video or anything on TikTok and my camera automatically turns to face me. And I'm like, wait, I could so easily accidentally like just put a video of myself up. I need to find a setting because I don't know why it's defaulting to that. But I guess a lot of people do, I don't know, forward-facing content. I don't know. I spent way too many hours on TikTok yesterday learning the ins and outs of book talk. Ugh, the things I thought I would never learn in my life. And then I'm sitting there with my son like, okay, so how do I make a TikTok? And he's like, well, I'll make them for you. And I'm like, no, because you can't repeat my content. My content isn't for you. Like my son's girlfriend asked if she could read the book, and I was like, no. Come chat with me when you're 18. And even then, probably no. Oh, the upper arms. I've always lucked out in that department, but And especially when I started doing Etsy more, if you want to get fit arms, make diamond painting putty. I'm telling you, that stuff, you will not have a flabby arm left because, woo, does that require some serious arm strength. Like the other day, a gal was like, "Oh, you've lost a lot of weight, and have you been hitting the gym? You look toned." And I was like, "Nope, I've been making wax melts and doing diamond painting putty." But yeah, diamond painting putty, as you sit there and knead it and all that, how's that? Like my arms are actually sore. It's like sitting there with a resistance band for an hour straight. Excellent for the arms. And then you'll finish one batch and be like, crap, now I gotta make like 5 more of these. All right. Want this little darker than where that part of her neck is, because like I said, I want that to be a little highlighted. In fact, I'm gonna get my lighter color. Yeah, I have my daughter help me with the putty. My youngest wants to help, and I was like, sorry, you're not strong enough. So she's so mad, but I'm like, you really aren't. Like, it kills me. I'm gonna get my son taught on it. Life lessons. Something he can put on his resume. Makes diamond painting putty. But I had the same thing when I used to do wedding cakes. Like I would knead fondant all day, and woo, that was a full body workout. Like, because you had to use every muscle in your body to roll out like fondant to cover a 20-inch base cake. You're basically kneading fondant that was the size of a basketball, and then rolling it out. Oh my gosh, that was a lot. There was muscles in my back I didn't even know existed back then. So this is definitely going to require more layers, but I'm already pretty close to my usual cutoff time. So I probably won't finish her upper neck. But you guys get the idea. I still have to color down here and all that, but I'm trying to do it in sections. But I definitely want to darken this up right up here a little bit more, especially coming out from under her neck. But let's see. Let me get this zoomed out. Fondant is like icing, but I would not call it icing. It's pretty nasty. It's not the tastiest stuff in the world, but it's common in wedding cakes. So, all right. So there we have our skin. Like I said, if you're ever coloring skin, don't judge the skin until you've done the eyes, lips, and all that. Because once you do this, everything else kind of comes together. Same thing with hair. Like, because I used to do skin, and then they would look like a freak. And I was like, I've ruined it. But then I would add the hair, and it would look better. So you got to keep that in mind. And especially right now, because she's got these like big old white spots for her smoky eyes I'm going to make. But even adding her lip color would make it pop. And then, of course, I'll take a picture after. But yeah, it's not too bad doing the skin with the Crayola. I mean, would I prefer my Prismacolor? Of course. Same thing when I did the hair with the Crayola. I would much rather have my Pro Color, but I'm just showing you it can be done. So if you can't afford Pro Color or you don't like Prismacolor or whatever your reasons, you can indeed do it with the Crayolas. So I'll probably keep working on this later today. I'll post a picture in the community tab as always, but thanks for hanging out with me, everyone. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your Sunday and a good week. And until next time, yeah, take care. Bye now.